sports, and you.
Well, I probably know who she is.
Oh, you will when you see her.
Oh,
You'll know
good,
who she is.
okay, good.
I'm sure. I just want to make sure you guys are mixing and mingling here. So. Gee, you guys look like a family reunion all by yourselves. What? I only bring them two at a time. Bob, have you? Oh, excuse me, Liz. You were still talking. Right. I don't recognize any of those faces. Put some in your mouth, son, so they'll know that we're eating.
We're eating now.
Boy, there's a lot of cousins here. That's all I can tell you.
Good shirt.
Got that right.
Okay, now you kids tell me who you belong to so I can get it on video. This is a Thompson. This is a Thornagel.
Oh, I'm
Stosich, okay. Okay. Last names. We need first names. So, okay. So it'll go.
Named after her grandma Emily.
Grandma Emily. Oh, really? And the David and Emily shirt is already displayed. Yay! And there's Lynn and the Lynn family. And Stephen and Emily. And I need the kids' names for this video. All you kids turn around and give me your name. We know who you are. Okay. Yell it loud. A lot of background noise. Some of this will get edited into another major epic video. We're going to make an epic Smith reunion video that will probably go on national television. Yeah, Funniest Home Movie or America's Most Wanted. I'm not sure which one exactly, but it'll be on one of them. Could be America's Most Wanted. Let's see. I know who all these. I think. Gosh, what a bunch of good-looking kids. There's Tom, Christine.
How you doing?
Good. How are you doing? Good. Thank you. How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Good to see you. You still in Boise? Still in Boise? Still at the
Still at
Bond? I'm glad
Still
something
selling
never
electronics.
changed. I'm glad something. You know, we need consistency in our life. Okay. And there's David John right there for the video. We're not sure if this is going to go on Funniest Home Videos or America's Most Wanted, but we're going to, between those two, we'll put it up for bid. We're going to bid between the two. Is it on? Yes, it's on. Keep waving.
Oh. It's not on. There's no red light. I know. Where's the red
I
light?
got you. With big boots too.
Where's the red light?
There's no red light on this one. It's a secret camera. Almost a hidden camera.
And then they act dumb and then they're on
One day to the next.
I wish I had a handle on the top so I could just carry it like that and record. I just want to be sure I got everybody on film.
She's too young.
It's not on.
Get Uncle Alvin chewing his brownie.
We have some maps available. Maps available of the activities that will be occurring tonight and tomorrow. Can I have it quiet for just a minute? There's enough people talking that first of all, you're not going to hear what's being said, and secondly, the other people can't hear. But the maps are available. These include the map of the self-tour of the sites in the community that belong to David and Emily.
Boy, there's a lot of people. Woo! Boy, there were we must have served 350 people today. There are cars all over out here. Kids everywhere you look. Did you guys miss the food?
No, we're great, thanks.
Did you miss the food? I feel bad, but I want to share with you that Perkins has a $1.99 breakfast if you want to run over and get it.
No, don't. Because, no, we're
Hi, bud. How are you?
You're out here.
I think at this time I'd like to give a couple of special thanks, particularly my wife Vicki. Can you raise your hand? Vicki has been the big organizer and has done all the typing and helped to get the information and newsletters together. Steve Wilkinson. Steve has put together
No, I haven't.
with help from many of your families. I know Heather Curtis Smith has put together many of you up here. We all have phone calls from her, and she spent many hours on the phone with Steve coordinating. And Steve tells me that this afternoon he will have his computer set up, and for each grandparent family, we can come copy this.
That thing's at 11. We gotta be at the temple at 11:30 to pick up names, then we change and go up for the second.
Oh, okay.
Nobody can get my wife out of bed?
She's in a hurry. I don't know. We didn't try.
Oh,
We were right behind you. We were right behind you.
coming over this morning? Oh yeah, you must have been awful close. You were here. Well, Dan and I was here about a half hour.
Yeah. Well,
I
no,
came
I mean,
over
we
about
were up,
8:30.
and then
Oh,
we were
yeah.
like, oh, where are we going? So we waited for Lindy to get up to tell us where I didn't know where to jump.
What? I can't believe this is the biggest reunion we have ever had. Bar none. There's There he is. The first one besides me.
Now, David, was it you that plucked all of these blossoms off of these pretty
I
flowers?
was just admiring the job that somebody did in stealing all of the blossoms off of the.
Got away over there.
We'll get enough of them. We'll get enough of them out here to do some good.
Playback on my camera's on the Fritz. I can still take
You're all alone. Where's your sweetheart?
I am back.
I had mine do that.
You know,
I don't
women.
know, there was too many people.
Oh, it says battery. I hope my other battery took a charge. Okay, you guys, stop eating right now. Don't anybody eat another bite. Hi, David. How are you? Boy, that's sure a nice looking bowl of fruit salad.
Have some.
Let's see. What are you guys having here? Hamburgers? How did you grill those hamburgers?
On a white grill.
On a what?
On a barbecue flame.
Outside? Is it outside here?
Not here, but at home.
Oh, I brought mine. We're going to do ours outside, make the whole place smell. We're going to put it right by the door and blow it in here. Boy, you look different. Zoom in on Woody eating. We got old Woody with his face full there. Hamburgers and chips. If my wife doesn't get here with food pretty soon, I'll die. You just sat down here and they fed you, huh?
We'll start in over there with whatever you want.
Oh, I see. You got everything on that table right there. Well, I got everything I need over here. No food.
I just met.
Is that Stafford's brand new one, Teresa? Is that the brand new one? What's her name, Stafford? What's her name?
She's number 2. I think that is going to have blue eyes.
Patrice, what's her name? Sylvia Grace. Brand new, 4 weeks old. Oh, what a cutie. Woo! Boy, I'll tell you one thing. Stafford and Shelley know how to make them. Yeah, they know how to make them cute, don't they? Really?
Make sure you get a picture of the audience.
Yeah, I will. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. You turn power on so you can see in it.
Power on.
Okay, then you touch this button so it says you're recording right now. So touch, push it, okay. Then this.
Lovely, darling, child of light. Too soon comes the time when she sleeps no longer next to me. That's number 10 for Mother Ned, Child of Light. Now, just to show you that this is in our heritage, it's in our genes. This is one of mine that was published not too long ago. My dads are all about fishing, and you know what mine are about. Here's the one that I just published in the national magazine. It says, "There she sits, silently, longingly, looking back at me, waiting for my gentle touch, the true feeling of closeness. Our time together is always special, sacred, refreshing, as we move quietly through the sweeping, rolling hills. The newness, the excitement of each moment give me tingles as time moves serenely from minute to hour, even days. I seem free to a sea of tranquility with gentle breezes sweeping by. My love, my wing, and I." I hope I didn't scare anybody that coming out here dressed like this. Those fish smell the Cheetos on my face and know that I'm not very hungry. Now, you don't have any Cheetos smell on your face, so they know that you're real hungry and they're not going to come near you. Okay. Representing the Sausage family, we have Patrice Berg. If you want to come up and get ready to tell your story. And next up, we'll have from the Wilkinson family, Rachel and Lorraine are going to do a piano duet. And after that, Amber and Tasha Pratt clogging. You can start to get set up. Patrice, we'll heard you some time right now.
Salt Lake City, the Olympus chapter. And if there isn't a storyteller scale form here, you should form to the Susan August Tellers, which they have an event every year in September, the 1st of September, the Storytelling Festival. Can you hear me? What? And listen to my court. I'm going to have some fun with this. So the judge sent a letter to the neighborhood. He said he wanted him to come to court, and he wanted him to bring a bag of when he came up to the judge, he said, "This man has stolen my smell for many, many years. He gets up and he walks by my window, and he never buys one thing." He turned to the neighbor man and he said, "Is that true?" "Yes, it is true." He said, "Well, I think that the baker here has told me something that is very serious." He said, "Now I ask you to come to court today, and I ask you to bring a bag of silver with you. Did you bring it with you?" "Yes, I did." "Would you show it to me, please?" "Of course." And so the neighbor man gets out the silver, and he holds the bag up. "Okay, now I've made my decision, and this is my decree." He said, "Neighbor man, you have stolen the smell from this baker for many, many years as you walk by. You never purchased one thing from him. And now, Mr. Baker, the neighbor man has taken his coins, and he shook them very, very hard for you. And now you have heard the sound of his money. And you've heard it many, many times in this courtroom. So my decision is, every time you walk by and smell his smell, you take your bag of coins and you shake it very, very hard."
Hear from Amber and Tasha Pratt. After that, or I'm sorry, Mr. Rachel and Lorraine first, and then Amber and Tasha. Amber and Tasha first, and then Rachel and Lorraine. And after that, we'll hear a song from Tom Stosik.
lost their sheet music.
Street where we always lead in New Orleans, a land of dreams. You'll never know what I think means glad to be. Yes, sirree.
Sent him to die. I scarce can take him.
12 to 15 years younger. How much younger is she? Oh, see, that's
7 or 8.
She's it's 12 years younger. Bob was just telling me, full engineer playing in a Corvette and a Goldwing motorcycle in his own business.
He's very nice.
Is he this guy nice guy? Very.
He seems very, very nice.
Well, it never hurts to shop.
That's right. That's right.
Class reunion, last 2 years.
Okay, here you go. Well, Phil.
You ready to go now? Don't push that button. You gotta speak up so they can hear you, Joanne.
Okay. Do you want to repeat his ideas, Jonathan?
Yeah. Phil, can't you just hold the camera?
No, I'm not gonna hold the camera. Well, it's gonna be better if you hold it like this on a tripod. It's going. All right.
Okay.
Okay, everyone.
This is Joanne. She's the youngest of 11 of David Smith and Emily family. So now you can take it over from there.
I was married to my husband, Wilbur, by my father, David Smith, on August 18th, 1955. And from our union, we have 10 children, 7 girls and 3 boys. And we have 27 grandchildren and 2 that are on the way.
Okay. Good for you. You did it. That's fine. Turn it off.
Thanks, yeah.
Okay.
And I married Kenneth 8th day of August, 1945. And we are the proud parents of 9 children, 5 boys and 4 girls. And we have 27 grandchildren, 27 grandchildren, 2 great-grandchildren, and another great-grandchild on the way. Where do you live? Oh, we live in Riverton, Utah, by the kind of close to the South Jordan Temple, so come see us. We work in the temple.
Oh, yeah. Grandparents, huh?
Oh, no more. Okay. Is that it? That wasn't
There you
hard.
go. No, we aren't done. We
Oh,
aren't
you
done.
have to tell
I need to know
something about it.
when you were married, how many children do you have?
We
How many
have-
grandchildren?
We have 11 children, 1 stillborn. And when were we married? The 31st of May, 1946.
You remember that?
We just went by our 49th. We're on our 50th. You see, we're trying to catch up, Carol.
And, you know, we hate to admit we only have 38 grandchildren.
That's right.
We've got some
Time
still
that you
in
need.
production. Some just started.
Is that the end here?
That's it.
Tell your children.
I want to know when you get
I married Leslie Wanless the 31st of October, 1947. And we were married by my father in the Idaho Falls Temple. We have 32 grandchildren, 2 great-grandchildren, and what else? What else?
And we've grown old. How many
And we
great-grandchildren?
both use a cane. We
How many?
have 32 grandchildren and 2 great-grandchildren.
Then you're older
We
than
got
I.
that twice. You need something else?
That's fine.
Thank you. 13th of August in 19. I can't even remember his birthday.
1936 or 7. Harlan was on a mission anyway.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
Hi there, Jim. How are you? Daddy was in.
What year was she
I got
married?
it all down.
Harlan was on his mission, and he got back about, what, 38 or 39?
Oh, 1936.
Ah.
1936. That was all right. So, is that a movie?
Yes,
That's the movie.
I kept wanting my little flashing.
How many children do you have?
I have 11 children, and I haven't counted all the grandchildren. But they're pretty much all here today. Well, that's neat.
In the Gen Con disc, they're all accounted for this whole family.
Yeah.
And it'll say how many grandchildren, how many great-grandchildren, and so forth. Especially what Stephen Wilkinson has got for everybody is a Gen Con disc. And that's the way you transfer genealogical information by Gen Con disc. So he got one.
Anything else you want to add, Aunt Esther?
Well, Yvonne and I filled 2 missions last year. And,
When were you married?
in 1930. I said it on 30.
Well, I mean, what month?
I can't remember.
August? Didn't you say August?
August, that's right.
You guys had a lot of August weddings in your family.
We went on a mission to Yugoslavia.
You should have yours.
He wanted to go to where his mother came from and where his father was.
I should have my.
It was wonderful.
No, you don't need it. She got it for me.
To be there, and I've got a lot of pictures that we
Is
did
this
with the
it?
family.
Is this it?
No, I didn't realize that they might be.
No, she bought me one yesterday.
So we can,
Brought it
it
out.
can be added to it, I'm sure.
Yeah, I can.
Okay.
So, what else?
Can you think of anything else?
No, I'm living out on 17th Street, and Myra's pampered me like I was some kind of a little pet.
You aren't living out in your home anymore?
Oh, yeah, I'm there too.
Oh, good, good.
She fixes my meals and sets me down to them. It's great. But I think she's trying to do a little bit more than she should. Because I'm not really.
Well, mothers always think that, Aunt Esther.
I don't know about that.
My children.
It's real fun.
Okay.
Okay.
There you go.
I'm Lorraine Smith Wilkinson, and I married Will Springhurst Wilkinson in the Salt Lake Temple in 1940. We have 9 children, 43 grandchildren, and I now have 7 great-grandchildren. And they're all just beautiful and wonderful. I live in Bountiful, Utah, in that home that we bought before my husband died. And I've stayed there, finished raising the 9 children there. And I still live in the same house that we bought when we moved to Mountain.
Tell them about your music.
Yes.
I love to write music. I've been blessed to write some songs that have gone church-wide and have become classics in the church. I have a present musical that's being performed next month, and this is June, and it will be performed July the 22nd, the 24th, and the 25th in Bountiful, Utah. in the White Tabernacle, the first tabernacle that was built in Bountiful, Utah, the main meeting place. It's called Utah is Still the Right Place. And I was commissioned to write it by the original chairman of the Utah State Centennial Commission. It's, I hope that I have a lot of my nieces, nephews, and their children come to it and make me have great joy indeed to see them there. It's something I've loved to do. It's been a lot of love and special interest in my life is my hobby with music, and I hope that I am able to do music until the day I part from this. And I'm so thrilled with this reunion. I'm so thrilled to see everybody and meet all the children of my nieces and nephews and the ones I have never met. It's been such fun, and I'm so glad that this reunion. Thank you.
Carol Thompson, and I married Forrest Thompson in the Salt Lake Temple by Nicholas G. Smith in 1939, December of 1939. And we've had 10 children. Great. And we have 54 grandchildren and about 10 or so great-grandchildren thus far. I've always loved to sew and sing. At one time, on the Woodville stage, they asked mothers to have their children model the clothes, their grandchildren or children model the clothes that they made for them. And I had 9 or 10 little granddaughters that were in different colored baby dresses that modeled. I wish I had a picture of it, but I didn't get one. But since then, I haven't been able to, since our mission in Texas, I haven't been able to sew. But I've enjoyed my life and my children and my grandchildren, and what would I do without them? My children have been a great blessing to me, and my grandchildren. I love children.
And you have a great blessing to all of us.
And I want to tell you something about Esther. Esther has all these beautiful little shawls like Mother. All these baby shawls. She's given them to her granddaughters now and made them for her granddaughters. She made John's wife, Gina, a little shawl to be blessed in. She has so many shawls and sweaters and things that she's made for other people. And she reminds me of Mother, when Mother was making for everybody. And I just wanted to feel that. She didn't feel herself enough. That's true. I tell you, I want.
You ready, Kelly?
No.
My name is Frederick McKay Smith,
I didn't tell her.
and I was born the 27th of November 1947, and I got married September 3rd, 1946 to Janine Taylor. And we have 12 children, and there's 59 grandchildren and 11 great-grandchildren. And I want to say something about this Esther thing, because I do remember, well, these people reminded me about this, I'm going to get an Esther and you can't have her either. And the particular parallel of it is that here's Esther and Vaughn Stosich and him a dentist. And my little Esther comes along and she marries Don Rubish and him a dentist. And Yugoslav. They spell her name R-U-B-I-S-C-H, just like Stosich. So we've had fun. And Lorraine, you know, she was on the general board of the MIA for 8 years. 8 years. And when Wells died, they took her off, and that really hurt her feelings, because that's when she kind of really needed that. But she built her life as an entrepreneur in makeup, and she was a makeup artist. No.
Well, she really was.
Yeah, but that's not a good thing.
I stayed on the general board for 1 year, but then it was necessary for me to be released because I had to do for my family.
And while she was on that, she came up with a lot of cute songs for the young people, and they were put right in. Anyway, we've got a great family. I grew up and was married young, and got into farming and ranching, and then when I was 28, I switched and I went into science, and I became a professor in biophysics and later in math and physics, and I retired a couple years ago, 3 years ago, and we're enjoying a little bit of roaming around. We hope to spend half the time in Salt Lake area, Idaho in the summer, not in the winter, and the rest down in Yuma in the summer. So just some in the winter, yeah. It's our summer time. And this is my beautiful wife. She is a beautiful piano player, and she teaches Suzuki and classical piano.
Oh, how great.
She's heretofore had 2 little pianos in a beautiful studio down there, and the people just come and take lessons from her.
Oh, how great.
And she's
It's his favorite thing to brag on.
and between us, we're the core leaders of the extracting work for our state. So we work together in extracting. We have a little office in the state center.
We did extraction for some I did before we went on my mission. Then when I drove the car all the way back, I had to have some eye operations. I had 3 eye operations on this right eye.
Well, I just admire your missions.
But
That's
this,
from
I have 20/20 vision in this left eye.
We haven't been called on the mission yet.
You like mission?
We like extracting, and we don't have a temple down there, and so we get into extracting, and that's just as fun as temple work.
Well, that is the thing of the mission.
Except we can do 100 names and only one a day.
Yeah. Bart used to leave me with it when he got to go to work, you know, and I'd have it done when he got home. He just would do a few in the last month or 2 that we did.
I'd like to be with this family in the hereafter, and if I hold on to her coattails, I might make it.
That's what Bart used to say.
Thanks.
Okay, I'm Lucille Smith Pond. I'm married to Ronald George Pond, and we have 14 children. They are mostly at this time living around this area in the little different towns close, and we have 4 in Utah, and then we have 58 grandchildren, and the total of our family now is 87. And we're very blessed. We work in the temple. We are enjoying that work. I work in the public affairs, and I am an assistant stake organist. And I love music. I teach piano and organ and have really enjoyed it. My husband is the stake auditor and first counselor in the state Sunday school, and has quite a few meetings to go to at that. Right now we're teaching the parenting class through the social services, and I play the organ at the temple. And we don't have any great-grandchildren yet. We've had 2 grandsons that have been on missions. One's still out, and the other one just returned. And 3 of our granddaughters are at college. So maybe they will get married and we will have some great. But right now we don't have it waiting for me. And it's a great life if you don't weaken.
That's right.
Okay. I'm Shirley Smith, and I was married to Harlan, who is the oldest in the David and Emily Smith family. He passed away nearly 6 years ago, and I've been living alone off and on since then with the help of the family. Our children are, well, we did a computer count, and there are now 131 in this family, which is the biggest family, but it's one of the oldest families. We had 4 children and adopted 10, and that gave us 14, and we also finished helping with Kendall Perkins, who is my sister's son. And we have a boy in the MTC, and he will be leaving for St. Petersburg, Russia on the 24th of July. And he's down there learning Russian and doing very well. His brother, older brother Mike, returned a year ago from South Africa on his mission. We have Doug's son, Jason, going to Tallahassee, Florida. And so there are a few missionaries out, and more coming. Elizabeth and Bruce were able to come for this reunion, and they have 3 boys and 2 girls and are expecting another one. We have 31 great-grandchildren and 4 more coming, and we have 54 grandchildren and 2 coming. So this is a great adventure to live in this day and age. And I talked to a table full of teenage boys a few minutes ago and said, you look extremely bored. What are you thinking about? And they just sort of shook their heads and looked shy. And then I said, well, how many of you are planning on going on a mission? And they shyly, every one of them raised their hand. And I said, well, when you get your mission call, I expect a card from you, and I want to know where you're going and when. So, it is very exciting. The initiatory work we did this morning was exciting. We have family names to work on. They don't happen to be the Smith family, but they are family names. And it was better than just taking names off the temple file. So it's great. I happen to be able to remember that I had 2 second cousins who were avid genealogists. And in our meeting yesterday, we found there were more than that. There are a number of young men who are just working hard on this genealogy. And it's highly interesting.
Go better.
I've got to run, or I'm going to miss the temple. So we're taking all of these names to the temple. The children baptized them last night at 7, and the initiatory was done this morning at 5, and we'll take the endowments through at 12 o'clock. So I think life's wonderful, and I'm glad I'm here.
I'm there, Louisiana, the food's so supreme. The western coastline, the sunsets in springtime, but none of them are home to me. Well, I've wandered around, some in big and small towns, son, seen most of what there's to see. But settling down here with no one but you, dear, with a chance to make a family. Because home is where my heart is. Yes, home's where I want to see you, dear. The rocky peaks of the Tetons I love. Montana, it has the big sky. But Idaho sings to me songs of sweet harmony here in these wilderness pines.
Hospital, Ray Hatch delivered me, and we moved out to this place. When we bought this place, it cost $600. There was sagebrush between here and town. On this sidewalk, I was standing in a wagon. Dr. David, my brother, apparently pulled it a little fast and flipped me over a complete flip and landed on my nose. Smashed my nose for life. Now, I didn't know that I was guilty of sleepwalking. If you'll come around here, I'll show you something here. There's a back porch right in the end there, where Uncle Harlan and Alvin were sleeping. And one night, Uncle Harlan heard the door bang, and he saw me walking in my sleep. I walked out of this door, around this side of the house. You can change that when you're ready. Down the front steps, took a left on the sidewalk and walked about 100 yards. He followed me, turned me around, and I came right back and got in bed and started to cry. This tree that you see on your immediate right is one that the grandfather Smith, David Smith, planted, and the one on the left there, back in, let's see, we moved here, that would be in 1919. How do you think you got All right, go. They heat the house with the central heating. There was a big furnace with a floor register, and it got red hot. Harlan and I jumped out of the tub and started to run, kind of in all together. And we were wet, and it was slick, and I slipped and fell on it. And Uncle Harlan said he could play checkers on my bottom for a number of years. A druggist from town went to my father and says, I've got a home that would just fit your family. You may not have mentioned in that little home we had 8 children. And so he says, yes, we could use the room, but I don't have any money. He says, that's all right, Bishop, and that's what a lot of them called my father. They called him the Bishop. And he says, how much? He says, $7,000. He says, pay me when you want to. There was no contract, just his word.
No signature.
And he was able to pay it off, of course, quicker than that. But it was a sign of the trust they had in my father.
They moved here then?
Kids used to congregate in this big home. It was a lovely big home. And Dr. Harv Hatch now, a young man, and Harlan rigged up a magneto to the doorknob, so when the kids touched that, they'd crank that and give them a big shock. And we dug. The garage was in the alley, and we dug down and made a swimming pool out of the dirt floor of the garage.
What year did they move here?
1926. We moved here. We were here until 1935, when my father was put in stake president of the North Idaho Falls Stake. Rutger Clausen, President Clausen of the president of the Quorum of the 12, was there, and my father said, I don't live in your stake, the North Stake. He says, that's all right, President. Your business is there. Now my father says, I'll have to live in the stake that I preside over. And that afternoon, after he was chosen, he went out on the west side, West Broadway a mile, to Jim Farrell's place. He says, I'd like to buy your place. Oh, he says, it isn't for sale. How much would you pay? He said, $10,000. No, I wouldn't let it go for $10,000 for any amount. And so my father went back in the house. And the next morning, Jim Farrell came into the Smith Chevrolet, which I happened to be there at that time. He says, Bishop, and he called my father Bishop. He said, Bishop, I've decided to take your offer. So my father bought it for $10,000. 20 acres and a big house, 2 cows, and a bunch of chickens.
Go ahead and tell your story about Papa.
Papa LaBelle?
Papa LaBelle.
There was a Catholic father living about where this cross is on this building. Pull it over to that cross there. He drove an old 39 Buick Roadster, of all things. Catholic father. And I'd heard one of Harlan's friends say, out there laughing, making a joke, "Hi, Papa." Well, I thought one day I'll just do the same thing. So I saw Father LaBelle down behind his house. I says, "Hi, Papa." He walked aside up here and up the sidewalk and up this little thing to the backyard and grabbed me by the arm and says, "Is that a way to treat a man holding the priesthood of God?" And he gave me the lecture of priesthood that I have never heard a better one. And he made it pretty pointed. I didn't think he knew my name because we'd never talked. But the Catholic sisters used to live here. And they moved to another place on 9th. And they needed to sell this house. And my father was the only one they thought had enough children to fill it. A lot of nice things. I can remember California poppies all down this one side.
Have a garden in the back?
No garden, just...
Did you bring the cow?
Pardon?
Did you bring the cow?
No, the cow wasn't here. That's a good question because we rented a barn 2 blocks down and in a half a block. And that's where 2 cows were kept. We'd go down with the milk bucket and milk the cows and bring it back up to here. During the Depression, we used to take about 9 quarts of milk at 9 cents a quart. And at that time, my father was taking home $100, and his manager was taking home $60, and it wasn't very much money. But in the Depression, that kept body and soul alive.
You might mention about the lovely hardwood that was in here, and Mother hated to leave this beautiful home.
There were 2 great large wall mirrors in this home of gumwood. Beautiful, beautiful wood. And Mother hated to leave the house. The other house had gumwood too. But Father moved the 2 mirrors on out there so that Mother would be at peace. And we really enjoyed being out in the country. We farmed and dug ditches and whatever you had to do on farm.
Which was your room? On the upstairs?
Do you remember?
Beg pardon?
Which was your room here?
Back room on the other side. No, I beg your pardon. We slept in the basement, Harlan and I.
You and Harlan shared everything, huh?
Pardon?
You and Harlan shared everything.
Well, largely because we were the 2 oldest boys. He was 4.5 years older. But in this place, Carol's husband was Forrest Thompson, and Harlan used to trap muskrats down the road about 3 blocks when Crow Creek was running through there. And to wake each other in the morning, they would tie a string to their toe and put it out the window, and the first one up would pull the string and wake up the other one. So Harlan got to be a real trapper of muskrats, and then we would skin them and put them on a stretcher, like a piece of plywood like this. Look sort of like this. Stretch that over there, and when it was dry, then we would sell it for 75 cents with the junk man to make spending money. We would also gather the copper and the zinc, and there wasn't any aluminum in those days, and we would sell that for spending money.
Might be fun to tell about Dale when he was busy doing something, remember?
Oh, yes. Our local banker lived here in the house on the right with the yellow around the window. And there was he had a colored man over there, and Dale was sitting on a ladder, on the top of the ladder, and my mother called him and said, "Dale, come in." He says, "I can't, I'm busy." He said, "Well, what are you doing?" He says, "I'm watching a nigger work." Boy, that colored man really got after him. To make spending money, I used to clean the sidewalk and mow the lawns for D.F. Richards, the banker, and that gave me spending money. The house in 1935 out to that home on West Broadway, and we moved everything but the great big Frigidaire that was restaurant size, and also the piano, the baby grand piano. We didn't move.
So you were 16 then?
15.
On West Broadway, about where Tam's restaurant is now. It was moved out here. The man who's been living here says he's been living here for about 26, 27 years.
We took the double garage and then added a section. Lovely little place. Well, kitty cat, I don't want you scratching my skirt. Down, down. You might get home.
And the girls slept upstairs. Huh? The boys always slept in the basement.
It's been a long time. I didn't think it had been 26 years.
We've been out here that long, yeah.
Isn't it something?
Empty, what, 3 or 4 years before we got it out
Oh,
here.
was it?
Earl Fibber McGee and Molly, that was one of his
Sure
favorite
did,
sayings.
sure did. Anyway, I had to get lights on them so the chickens would start laying. So I'd turn the lights on 4 o'clock. And so I didn't have to get up. I put an alarm clock there with a string around the switch was up and down. Had a little knob on the switch, so I put a string, and when they wound up so much, it pulled the lights on. I didn't have to get up.
I got it set up like that.
David and Emily Smith then moved to their third house on West Broadway, which used to sit where the Tam's Drive-In restaurant sits now, which currently is unoccupied. The house on West Broadway also came with 20 acres of land. Which is now part of Ernst and the apartments on the south side. And behind Tam's restaurant, there's a garage that's still standing that was built by David Smith. And Emily moved to was on Saturn Drive. Uh-huh.
Many of you maybe not know how the business was started.
Well, let Raymond know that it's...
Actually, it was started in Rexburg, Idaho. It was called the Hart Ellsworth Auto. No. He moved from Rexburg down to Hotel Idaho.
Yeah, no, there's no problem.
There was one showroom vehicle at the hotel and one repair service bay.
Yeah.
Moved from there to Park Avenue and C Street, a block west, or block east rather. And they took on, they were at that time selling Nash and Hudson, a few Fords and a Dodge or two. And at that time, while they were there, they took on Chevrolet in 1925. And for a note, my father was asked by his father why he came into Smith Chevrolet, why he took over this business. Because it was defunct. He says, well, I've just been made bishop and I'd like to spend some time with my people in the calling which I've been given. He says, inasmuch as you have done this, I want you to come over here and sit down. So he went on the showroom floor on C Street there and laid his hands on his head and gave him a blessing that he would extricate this business from its precarious financial condition, and that he would succeed in the business. In 1961, we moved from C Street out here, and we built a new building, this building that we're in now, and it's been very nice for us as a business. I took over the business from the powers that be in 1958. And now my sons are here. Woody and Stafford are now managing the business here.
And Grandpa always liked Cadillacs, though, not Chevys. He liked Cadillacs, not Chevys, right?
And it was Hart Ellsworth when Father Smith took it over.
Oh yeah, it used to be Hart Ellsworth, but
Because he called it Smith Chevrolet.
and we used to have Cadillac. But when the partners, Cecil Hart and us split, he was able to get a hold of the Pontiac franchise, and he then came to me to see if I would sell the Cadillac franchise. I told him he could have it, and they always thought I was crazy. I thought we could double our profit on the Chevrolet if we concentrated on it, and it proved to be so.
Yep. Great.
In person.
Pardon?
You look younger in person.
Oh, really? Than that?
Yeah.
Idaho Hotel, or Hotel Idaho, was situated on the corner of Constitution Way and Capitol Avenue in Idaho Falls. And this is the building that grandfather Smith, David Smith, first started Smith Chevrolet after buying it from someone else. And the showroom could house only one car at a time. And the service door to Smith Chevrolet on the first building at the Idaho Hotel was situated on the street Capitol Avenue. In later years, the Smith Chevrolet company was moved one block over to the east to Constitution Way and Park Avenue. And then, after a few years, this building was built on the south side of the street for the service department.
into the automobile business. When our seventh child came to us, I went to my wife and I said, honey, we'll have to cut the loaf in a few extra slices if we keep having children as fast as we're having them. And she looked at me rather disappointingly and made this statement: if you're the kind of a man that I felt that I married, you'll get out and earn a new loaf. And I got to thinking that over, and I wondered what I was doing that I shouldn't do. The Lord said, if you do what I say, I'm bound, but if you do not what I say, you have no promise. And I was fulfilling the commandment with my wife of multiplying and replenishing the earth, and I was trying to subdue the earth and make a living for them. And I got to thinking why I shouldn't be blessed with enough means to carry on this fine family if I was keeping the commandments of the Lord, which was quite a revelation to me, and it came all in a moment to me at that time. And so I left salesmanship and started the Smith Chevrolet business in Idaho Falls. I took over the old Hart Ellsworth Auto Company business that was having some trouble. They were owing $56,000 of borrowed money, and they had a stock of obsolescency there. Several Nash cars, they were selling Nash and Hudson and Essex, that were some of them, 12 of them, didn't have generators on. They were going through a process of development, and they didn't have generators, and they didn't have the balloon tires. They had the high-pressure tires on. And each one of them had about $1,200 owing on them to the acceptance companies. And I went in and looked over their business, and they had a lot of obsolescency there in parts, and they were owing this money. And they had some notes receivable, about $25,000 worth of notes receivable. And I could see these notes receivable, and some of them were long outstanding, and they hadn't had any work on them. And when I went to investigate them, I found out that the cars had an amount of around but they started in a way that President Clark asked me to organize KID up there. President J. Woodman Clark. And he said, can you get some local money in there with what we put in? I said, leave it till tomorrow, brother President Clark, and I'll tell you tomorrow. And the next day I told him, I said, well, I can get you all the money you want, local money. And he said, go ahead. So I went ahead and organized the KID. first president of the North Idaho Falls Stake, the first chairman of the welfare. So Papa Ballard set me apart for that. Papa Ballard. First.
I'd love to see the temple. I'm going there someday to feel the Holy Spirit, to listen and to pray. For the temple is a house of God, a place of love and beauty. I'll prepare myself while I am young. This is my sacred duty. I'd love to see the temple. I'll go inside someday. I'll covenant with my Father. I'll promise to obey. For the temple is a holy place where we are sealed together. As a child of God, I've learned this truth. Our family is forever.
I have a family here on earth. They are so good to me. I want to share my life with them through all eternity. Families can be together forever through Heavenly Father's love. I always want to be with my own family, and the Lord has shown me how I can. The Lord has shown me how I can. While I am in my early years, I prepare most carefully
me how I can. The Lord has shown me how I can.
Presently the day God had called Daddy up and told him he wanted him to be president of the temple. And the 17th of July, 1943, we were both set apart for present making of the temple. And then the Relief Society ladies, you should have heard them. Sister Miles and some of them said, "You sly little woman, you knew what she was going to do." I said, "No, I had no idea. But it was just something I had to be free of the others." And I told Daddy, I said, but he said, "Oh, I'm the outdoor type. I can't be indoors." And I said, "Now listen, this is a call from the Lord, and you accept it." And so when he said I was to be matron, I said, "Oh, well, my goodness, I've never done anything like that." Well, he said, "You just surprised us and told me it is now." He said, so we were set apart for the temple, July the 17th, 1943. And we were there for 2 years before it opened up, for a little better than 2 years before it opened up for endowment work. And then it was September the 23rd, 4th, and 5th. It was dedicated of the 45.
And the temple was built 2 years before it opened?
Oh, it was built, but it had to be finished. And we'd get, there'd be groups come in there, and Daddy, we'd meet them. We'd meet them in one room, I'd take one group, and he was another, and some of the others. And we'd tell them what the temple was for, and we'd take them to him. And it wasn't quite finished for decoration, you know. But we saw it all finished there, the lovely carpets and the paintings and everything. So we were there 6 years, lacking about 1 month. We went in 42, and we were released June the 15th, 1949. So that was just from June to July that we were away from the temple. Many wonderful, happy things happened there, and it was hundreds of marriages. And I was permitted to speak to the brides and the mothers and the friends, and Daddy had the grooms and the fathers. And he gave us some wonderful advice and counsel. And we met many people who tell us that they never forgot what we told them there. And there's only one girl that I know of at that time. She went down the temple steps, and somebody heard her say, "Well, I think I'm going to believe what they told you or not," or something.
What?
One girl of all the people. She said, "If they think I'm going to believe their things, I won't." But that was only 1 in 1,000, you see.
Okay.